My mom told me not to talk to strangers on the internet, but I'm glad I didn't listen. We are the Certified Noonas, your sisters in the love of Asian entertainment.
Hi, I'm Amanda.
I'm Jessie.
I'm Natalia.
And I'm Sky.
And if you celebrate, here's a little Christmas treat for yous today. We're here with everyone's favorite episode. What we're watching. That's right. This is just the first time
Christmas treat.
It's a Christmas treat. A holiday,
We're not
a
doing Christmas
non-denominational
themed, though.
holiday treat. It's not Christmas themed whatsoever. That ain't our vibe.
I definitely didn't watch anything Christmas themed.
I
Sorry.
also didn't watch anything Christmas themed, so
I definitely did, but I'm
not for this. Like,
yeah.
Oh, I guess we did watch a movie together. That was
We
fun.
did
it's
watch
Christmas
it.
themed.
Okay.
Holiday.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah, we can mention that. But for anyone who's watching this or listening to this for the first time, this is an episode where we talk about what Asian dramas we've been watching. We have a special guest star, the Strawberry of Time, that because we put a time limit, so we're not here for 5 million hours telling you about dramas. It's Strawberry of Time. Very cute. And we just talk about dramas that we watched and what we thought, and maybe you want to check them out too. And this week, to start us off, we've got Amanda. Amanda, what is a drama you have been watching?
I finished handed in all my assignments, so I've been able to catch up and binge stuff this week. So yay!
This is great.
Yeah. So I'm working on trying to get a bunch of stuff finished. All these dramas that have been kind of laying. But I found the time to start a new one, Thai drama called Last Twilight. It's boy love drama. I started it because an actor that I like, Kun Chanuj, is in that. He's not in very many dramas, so when he shows up, I check them out. We're halfway through the series. He's been in 2 episodes. This is not.
Yep.
It's just the crumbs.
That sounds about right.
Exactly.
That sounds about right.
Right. So, this drama is about a guy named Day, who was a national athlete, played badminton. One day, a year ago, in the middle of a game, his eyesight failed him and just went bad. It's been steadily getting worse. He's got about 20% vision now, and it's he's cranky about it, which understandably. Okay. And then the other main character is Mok. He is a mechanic who, on that same day a year ago, was hit the double whammy of his sister committed suicide, and he wound up going to jail for, completely unrelated, for an assault situation. So he hasn't been able to find work since then because nobody wants to hire somebody to work for them who's got an ankle bracelet, and he sees a big lineup somewhere and he's like, hey guys, what are you lined up for? Oh, we're interviewing to be this companion helper dude for this guy. And he's like, I got nothing to do. I'll sit here and wait. And he's the last person. They're like, the guy's cranky. He doesn't want to see anybody else. And he's like, oh no, you're going to interview me because I've been waiting 3 hours. I'm getting my interview. He walks in. And of course, that's the one, this kid's like, listen, everybody else was like treating me like I was a child. And this guy treated me like I was the adult man that I am. So this guy can be my, and his mom is looking at him like, this guy has got torn jeans and he's not very respectable. And he's like, I don't care, Mom. This is one. Okay, fine. So, and they get along really well. It's a romance. It is what, but what I really am enjoying about it is that it's very clearly a romance. They've got all those moments, all the hand touching, the looking, oops, I walked in on you when you were shirtless or whatever moments, right? But it's really much more about their friendship. So in the first 3 or 4 episodes, you could easily just have this be a friendship and it never go anywhere else, and it would be a fine story. So I like that they're building that relationship between the two of them, which is nice. And I also really like Mock's best friend is an actress I like, Namtan.
She's wonderful in it.
She's great, and she's his ex-girlfriend. And they broke up when he went to jail and his sister died and stuff. Not because of that, but because he became not a very good boyfriend at that point. Like, he was depressed, he was upset, and she's like, to be honest, you weren't really a great boyfriend before that. Like, but they're still best friends. So they hang out, and she gives him advice on his romance and stuff. And my one concern is they keep mentioning over and over again about if he can get a cornea transplant, like, he could go back to school if he could get a cornea transplant. I'm like, blind people go to school. Like, like, there's sort of that edge of...
I think that the thing was that, like, go to school, they mean return to the badminton life, because...
Okay, like, at school.
Well, blind people can do a lot of things. I feel like badminton may not be a forte of the visually impaired community.
This is true. So there is that aspect of it. It just is a little, and it has been good. He's been in the, like, we're halfway through right now, and he's started to exercise again. And, like, his Kunchanuj, his character, is a blind guy who's been sort of assigned to mentor him through this, like, transition period and to learn how. And so he's like, oh yeah, like, I ran a marathon on the weekend. And they're like, you're blind, how did you run a marathon? He's like, I met this girl and she runs marathons, and they basically tie their wrists together and they run as a team, right? And he's like, oh, okay, I didn't even know that was a thing, but cool, let's try it. So, like, he's for the last year been living in his room doing nothing, and now he's going out into the world again and learning how to... I'm just a little concerned that this seems like it might be setting it up as the happy ending is going to be he gets his cornea transplant and gets to, he's learned lots of lessons along the way, but now he gets to be seeing again, which is... But
who knows? It might not. Like, we don't...
But it might not, too.
We might be surprised.
So, like, it could go either way. So we'll see. We'll see what they do with that. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the story. It's not revolutionary. But it's good. It's not super, like, corny, intense, no. And it's not super silly. It's just a nice little rom with some calm, and it's
touch of calm,
a lot of calm, not a lot of calm. Like, it's more romance than it is rom-com, I would say.
Yes.
So, but it's enjoyable, and so far a lot of the things that they've been dealing with the disability have been really well handled, I think. So, cool. I mean, I say that, I don't know, but to me, there's nothing, sometimes even as an abled person, you watch something and you're like, that doesn't
there could be some real obvious things.
Yeah.
Looking at you where stars land. Looking at you.
Right?
If you know, you know.
If you know. If you know, you know.
Had so much promise.
So much. So, yeah. So, and I'm fully caught up, which I 6 episodes this week. I haven't watched 6 episodes of anything in a week.
You're like, I don't know.
And where can people find this show?
YouTube. It's on YouTube on the GMM TV channel. Easy peasy.
For freebies.
I was gonna make a joke if it's gonna stay up there, but I'm not.
Well, let's not go there. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Sky, what have you been putting your peepas upon?
So I'm gonna actually bring up something that I've only watched 2 episodes of. Only 2 episodes are out. So to be clear on that, on Disney Plus in the US, as far as where it is, it depends on how you want to address it. Dragons of Wonderhatch or Wonderhatch just by itself.
I'm excited about that one.
And it does have a Japanese name, of course. So that is a J drama. So I'm not going to do any big spoilers. So don't be scared. I'm not going to do any big reveals right now. I just want to talk about the type of drama that this is, because I think people are probably curious about like what is the makeup of this drama. So in the first 2 episodes, starts off live action, like high school girl and her best friend is I think his mom is Japanese and his dad is African American, and so he is a person of color, fluent in Japanese, so like that he actually is around a lot the first 2 episodes, and so that was great. I just wanted to mention that. Really sweet guy, like the character's really sweet. Yay, representation. You just don't get to see that very often. So you kind of get introduced to her a little bit, and then boom, you're in an anime. Straight up anime for quite a while. And so, and like I didn't time it, of course, but it was a bit because they were introducing the world in the anime side of things. And so again, I'm not going to reveal a lot, but you eventually figure out the high school girl's mom was a manga artist, but also had this, she suddenly was hit with these visions of this world. And so it's kind of obvious that these, like you're wondering, are these drawings that the mom, like, so the mom did all these artworks of this. So anyway, but like you're really seeing the life or death battles of dragon riders on this kind of castle in the sky floating island thought. Very interesting, pretty lengthy. So like, if you are not looking for dragon riding anime,
this is not the show.
Do not be you. So yeah, it is a pretty big chunk of the first episode. So what also got me is, so I do not know Japanese well at all, but when they started showing this anime aspect, I'm like, that's not Japanese that they're speaking. There's no way that's Japanese they're speaking. But then it eventually flipped into Japanese, and I was like, was I imagining it not being Japanese at the beginning?
Did they make their own language?
And so then eventually, later on, the way they had subtitled, they made it obvious. Yeah, there's a language for the fictional
Fantasy
world.
language, yeah.
But they also did speak
Perfect.
Japanese in that world too. So like, I don't know what's going on with that, but that's fine. I just thought I wasn't having an aneurysm. That's fine.
Don't worry about it.
I think in the first episode, it eventually, so again, I'm just trying to show you like the makeup of the show. So you kind of keep going back to bits of this girl. And here's the thing that I wanted to bring up. So you're thinking pretty fantastical, of course, like dragon riders, all this stuff. So on the real life side of things, I'm not saying it's super dark, but what I want to bring up is you eventually figure out, supposedly the mom died at some point, and the mom having these visions, supposedly she kind of got disconnected from reality at some point and only spoke in that other language, and then supposedly passed, which like you kind of feel like question mark with that eventually. But there's darkness there. So I wanted to bring up. So that was a little bit, and at the very beginning, pretty much the high school girl has these visions, the same visions of that place, and she like kind of passes out in the middle of class, and that was kind of like the symptoms or whatever that her mom had. So like that's she's kind of starting to wonder, am I plagued by something? So you get a lot of anime, and then you get, and I wondered if the anime section of the first episode was long enough, I wondered if they would even flip back much to the real world at all. And they eventually did. And then you get a little hint, I think, near the end of the first episode. Oh, there was a dude that was in the anime world that came into the real world. And you barely see that. And then in the second episode, you start seeing, yeah, that's like a thing. The characters from the anime world, they're starting to be on the live action side of
Love
stuff.
it.
So, and so like, I'm not going to tell you how or any of that, because that's the fun part.
Yeah.
It's like, the details are the fun part. But I wanted to explain the makeup of the show. So it still was showing the anime side of things. So anytime they're showing this world, it's anime. But then, and as far as, I was like, okay, are we going to see a dragon? Was I going to be able to see a dragon come into the real world side within the first 2 episodes? Like, sure enough, at the very end...
a little teaser
boom,
to keep you coming back next week.
So,
Nice.
yeah, so like right at the end you get another, as far as I'm concerned, that's really, like, it was very well done.
You're like,
very,
done,
very good.
sold.
Well, like, as far as the CGI
dragon,
and stuff, like, I thought it was really slick, like, I thought it looked cool. But it kind of, what's kind of nice is, like, you get a little bit of fish out of water stuff, of course, with these people from another world speaking another language, and then they pop into somewhere else.
The old classic.
And they're dressed like an anime character, so they popped into, like, normal wherever Japanese city, and people are like, you're dressed crazy. And so, like,
cosplayer?
That's a thing.
Cosplayer?
So, but then I was kind of intrigued by the whole, like, the darkness, like, the way she doesn't know what happened to her mom. She was younger, like, less than 8, I would say, when her mom started kind of slipping from reality. So, like, she doesn't really know, but she started kind of going into her studio trying to figure out, because she's pretty worried about, like, what's going to happen to her, because she kind of keeps...
Yeah.
They don't say passing out, but, like, she suddenly just falls over, and she just has these kind of vision things. So it's some more darkness there than I was expecting, because, like, it looks, as far as the poster looks, really like, woo! And it is very woo, but there's some darkness there. So I really wanted to throw out the whole anime thing, because I was not ready for, wow, this is, like, episode 1 is, I'm watching dragon anime. Like, that's what was happening.
I like
it. It was cool.
All right.
That sounds really fun.
Oh,
check it
so
out.
yeah, like, so I'll repeat. Disney Plus.
And airing.
And currently airing. So it currently, as of the moment of this recording, it has 2 episodes out. It will have 8 episodes when all is said and done. The episodes are pretty short. It doesn't tell me right here, but I kind of remember one was like 40 minutes, 45 minutes, around those 50 minutes, that type of a cut. But I thought it was pretty cool so far. The real life side felt very realistic, other than, well, all of a sudden you have a dragon there, so that's kind of a thing, but...
It sounds fun.
It does.
Yeah, so, like, I had kind of, because we had kind of discussed, like, we were interested in how they would execute it.
Yeah, on our coming up live, like, what's coming up live stream that we do, which we do every month, and we'll be doing on Wednesday this week, if you're watching this on the airing day, on Christmas. On our YouTube channel, we do live streams. Yeah, we all thought it sounded really fun.
Yeah. So like, especially like if you're an anime, like if you were an anime kid back in the day, you'll definitely like to check it out at least. I'm not saying you're gonna stay for the whole thing necessarily, but you'll be like, oh, it's an interesting mix. Or if you're maybe not into anime, but if you liked, like, Roger Rabbit and stuff like that, like if you liked the mix of
that, like,
real
kind
life,
of dual.
and,
yeah.
Though they're not doing anime with real life, it's gonna be real with CGI dragons. I don't know.
Just jumping worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, there's jumping worlds.
You're going
like
from the anime dimension to the real people dimension.
One thing I
like
forgot
when you like
to
mess
mention,
with time travel and like things go awry, it kind of sounds like that.
Also, if anyone enjoys anthropomorphic animals, or if you like furry type stuff on the anime side of things,
you're gonna be a fan.
There's a lot of animal people. There's a lot of like, that's just a bear talking, because that's what we do here. So like,
why not? Sure.
Or like there was a little owl family, like just cute. It's like we have dragons and we have animal people, so that's what we do there.
Like
no one wanted to explain that. It's like, okay.
Right.
So how about you, Natalia?
So I too would like to talk about a J drama, and as a little preamble to this, I went into this drama with trepidation, fear in my heart. Okay.
Oh no.
Because when I tell you this drama could have gone so wrong so quick. Okay. It came out in November, but it just got put on Viki like last week. And it's called My Plus Size Misadventures in Love.
I saw that and
Okay.
I was very concerned.
Yes, I was very
Okay.
And
concerned
like
as well.
I was
Okay.
scared away
Now-
from it.
Now, okay, but I was like, I'm gonna give it a chance. First off, not a fat suit. They actually hired a plus-size actress
Great.
to play
I love
a
it.
All right.
plus-size character.
Nice.
2, this is
Bare
important to
minimum,
know.
there we go.
While it is a
Yeah.
comedy, and there are physical comedy, none of the physical comedy is hardy har fat person. So there's no breaking chairs, there's no clothing splitting at the seams, there's none of that. Okay?
Nice.
And I was like, we're doing this. We're
Wow.
doing this. Okay, let me set the scene. So
Okay.
you meet this woman and she's very depressed and has very low self-esteem because people are really shitty to her because she's fat. Okay, and she works for a candy company and she has all these great ideas, but she never wants to say any of them because she's convinced that no one will take her seriously because she's fat. And then she gets so depressed, then this is a bit of a trigger warning, that she tries to commit suicide by jumping off a building. Does not die. Wakes up with no memory of who she is. Looks in the mirror and immediately goes, "Oh my God, I am so cute." And then immediately goes home. And instead of all these like unflattering dark clothing, she buys fashion icon. Okay, let me just tell you, fashion icon buys all these huge, bright, really colorful, fun outfits, and is like, I'm gonna go to this company where I work, where everyone definitely loves me because I'm so awesome. And why wouldn't they? I'm a fucking goddess. While on her way, sees this cute guy played by the dude who played Rikaku in Cherry Magic, like the guy who gets hired at the company, having a panic attack in a park. And is like, "Are you okay? Like, can I help you? Can I help you?" And is like giving him water. And then she, like, the sun is, like, when I tell you, he looks at her and like the sun's coming out from behind her eyes. And then he's like, "What?" And she's like, "Oh, I gotta go to work. Like, I hope you feel better. Like, bye." And she's like, "Oh my God, he was so cute. Like, I bet he was taken with my beauty because I'm so wonderful." Goes into this company, is immediately like, "Hey everyone, I'm back from the hospital. I don't really remember who I am, but I hope you're all like gonna be, don't worry about it. We're like, listen, I'll catch up." And everyone's like, "What the hell happened to you?" Because like she never talked before, like she was just quiet and dour, and now she's just like this pile of sunshine. And she's like, and then these women are like, you know, the bitch women at the thing try to like make fun of her, like, "Oh, look at this fat pig." And she's like, "Ladies, I know that you're so jealous because you're so emaciated and just not as beautiful as me. But like, there's no need to be this nasty. Like, you can always improve yourself. Don't worry about it." And then like the show just like progresses like this. Like they hire like this new guy who's like another hot guy, and she's like, "Oh my goodness, I love your drive and your energy, like, and you know, it's so great, I'm gonna be your mentor." And like then all of a sudden she has all these candy ideas, and like everyone at the company is suddenly taking her seriously because she's so like, you know, vivacious. And then of course it turns out that the cute guy at the park might be the vice president
New
of
boss.
marketing.
Oh, yeah.
And then, but then of course she's dealing with like, I don't want to remember. Like she has like her journals from her past self, and she's like, I don't actually want to remember because I seem so depressed. And what if I'm not me anymore? If I remember my past life, because like I'm so fabulous now, and it seems like I didn't know I was fabulous then. She's just making friends left, right, and center. She's solving problems for everyone. She's just like wearing these super bright, cute things, like. Just, and she's over the top, but it's like over the top in a way that doesn't hinge on like her being fat as a punchline. It's just like her being like, I have confidence because I'm smart, I'm cute, I'm fashionable, and everybody likes me. And that's just what we're gonna do. So I was very surprised.
That is surprising.
So
that doesn't happen.
Let me tell you, it was the most surprising turn of events, because I was like, listen, I gotta, as a larger woman myself,
and as the person who's watching everything,
I'm watching everything, I was like, I'm gonna at least give it a chance. If it's the most offensive thing I've ever seen, I'll just turn it off. but I kept waiting for like it to be.
It's good to be prepared because statistically, like,
yeah. So I like kept waiting for like for her to suddenly think she has to lose weight. Never happens. I keep waiting for there to be like she leans over and her pants split. Doesn't happen. I keep waiting for, someone to jokingly ask her out on a date and break her. Doesn't happen. And I'm just sitting here like, what is going on? I was like, she's just confident and cool.
How far are you on it?
I'm done. I finished it. I watched it in like 2 days.
So I will ask this question: like, does she reconcile like her past self and stuff?
Yes.
Because like that would be important, I think, for the plot.
Like there is like a turn where she reverts back to her previous self, and then
works through it,
and works through it because realizes like everyone's still nice to me because we're friends now, because I gave them a chance with my winning personality. And by just my only problem wasn't that other people hate me, was that I hate myself. And so it was just, it's just nice. It's just a nice show. And I was surprised, shocked, flabbergasted, some may say. I kept waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it didn't drop. So,
perfect.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And it's just like, there were like people being an asshole to her because she's fat, but like, she just didn't care for for the most part. And then other people would be like, hey, shut the fuck up. Like her friends, like she makes friends and she solves problems, and none of that is hindered by her size. And like, I was shooketh that I was like, she's just a person. And
it reminds me of when I watched that show that centered around a trans woman character, and just the whole time it was like, it showed them being a person, like she was a person, just being a person, and I was like, thank you.
Yeah, and it's just, and then she finds out that it's like, oh, other people also have insecurities and problems, even if they look, traditionally good looking, like, and it was nice. But when I tell you this woman's fashions, oh my, I was like, icon. I need every single piece. Like, there's like these 2 scenes that are like mirrored, like one in her memory where she tries, like, before she has her accident, that's what they call it in the show, her accident, she buys this like floral print sundress, and she like tries it on, and she's like, I can't wear this, like I'm so ugly, I can't wear this, and like she breaks her mirror. But then when she gets back from the hospital with amnesia, she sees the dress and puts it on. She goes, oh my god, like look how like beautiful I look in this. It's so perfect with my skin tone, and like, ooh, I can put my hair up, and like, oh, it's gonna be so wonderful. And then she just like walks out in it, and she's like, I am the sun. And she's like, I'm the sun, I'm a goddess, everyone loves me. And that's how she just walks through life. And
and that's on Viki, right?
That's on Viki, so you can watch it on Viki.
Perfect.
And I liked it. Listen, it wasn't a perfect show, no. Was like the comedy a little over the top? Absolutely.
Of course it was.
And
but you gotta take wins.
You
do.
You
really do.
You gotta take wins. And it's just like, they dressed her nicely when she was in like her, fashion phase.
And what year was it from? Like, was it from
2022?
It was from
2022. Okay, so last year. Yeah, I was shockest by what I saw. I was literally shocked by what I was seeing, because usually when you have like fat girl character, the plot is always gotta lose weight, gotta get prettier, blah blah blah, and then there's always like some lip service to be like, oh, but everyone still likes you, like, even though, and I'm like, it's underlined if nobody liked her when she was fat and only likes her when she's like, less fat.
Or there's a lot of shows that like, oh, there's a fantasy element of all of a sudden she's gonna be some other body type. It's like, no.
And the fact that there was no fat suit involved,
Yeah, that's great.
They just
good.
hired a fat actress.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Anyway, it was cute. It was cute. And when I tell you, like, you know how I love a simp? You know how I love a simp? The way that this guy looks at her, like, yes. Yes. Anyway, so I was surprised by this show. Obviously, it was not perfect. There were still some, like, ew, but, like, none of them were ew at the expense of her being fat, which is, I think, the important part to remember. Like,
Yeah.
it wasn't just like, hardy
sure.
har, fat person doing fat people comedy. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
shocked. But I know that all of us who saw this,
I know.
were
I just saw it, and I was like, "Oh no!"
Yeah, like I automatically was like, nope. I know
no,
better than that.
No.
Back away.
Yeah, no. And I was expecting to be horrified and was not horrified.
But you prove that, like, if you're in the headspace that you want to tackle something, you know, like every once in a while, it's like, I'm willing to try it and give it a shot.
I'm like, listen,
Often
I'm
it's not worth it.
Like, I'm feeling pretty positive about my looks these days. I'll watch this show about a fat lady, see what goes down. And for once, it was just like a fat lady being like, I'm fat, who cares? I'm still gorgeous. Like, because nothing annoys me more than when you're just like, you know, you're talking about your weight or something, and someone will go, oh, you're not fat, you're pretty. I'm like, bitch, I didn't say I was ugly. I was fat.
Also, I am.
Yeah, also, like, you saying that is not going to change that I shop at the
Going
plus
the
size
wrong
shop.
way that you think
Like-
it's going. Come on.
It's like, you saying that still doesn't mean they carry my size at a regular clothing store. So let's just calm down here. Like, but yeah, that's on Vicky, and I thought it was pretty fun and not offensive.
Cool.
Jessie, what do you got?
Cool. So I do have something offensive. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm here to bring you the most offensive thing I've ever seen.
A couple weeks ago, I decided that even though I have a slew of dramas that I could be watching and have, like, dramas that I have, like, more than halfway watched, I would just pick up another new thing. And I decided just to go through Vicky's catalog, and I was like, I'll just, like, look to see what, like, is new on the site, you know, because just to see, like, what has been uploaded.
Yeah.
And, this little drama that I, like, to this day really had no, like, real interest in watching, came up as one of, like, the top choices. It's not a new drama. It's from 2017. But I was like, maybe I'll just, like, watch this. And if it's just, like, my background drama, it's my background drama. So I picked up Missing 9.
Of course.
I don't know why. There's a
same, but go on.
I mean, really, like, honestly, I was like, push play, I guess. And here I am. I'm on, like, episode 13, and I've just been, like, watching randomly. Sometimes I'll, like, throw up an episode at work. It's just been this, like, very nice, like, leisurely stroll through this drama. I will probably definitely have it done by the end of the year, so there's that.
I remember watching that drama while it was airing.
I remember, like, all the stuff for it, like, all the promo for it.
Yeah.
But I was still not, like, doing a lot of, like, new drama watching at that time. I was, like, watching completed stuff. But it stars Jung Kyung Ho, who you know from, like, Crash Course in Romance and Hospital Playlist. I was trying to do Crash
the Hospital.
Yeah.
Crash the Hospital. It's really funny because the premise of the show, which I'll tell you about in a minute. And then Baek Jin-hee, who was the female lead in Jugglers, if you've seen that, which I really like Jugglers. And she was cute in that. She's cute in this, like, halfway through. Okay, we'll talk about it in a bit. The premise of this show is that Jin-hee's character is a new what do you call them?
Stylist
For this kind of washed up former K-pop. I don't know if he actually made it to K-pop Idol. A lot of it's told through like flashbacks. Like K-pop Idol, who's also doing like acting work, Kyun Ho's character, and he's just, you know, the typical like toddler man child who is not as famous as he wants to believe himself to be, and so she's trying to like just get him in anything and everything, and I can't really remember the setup for how they got or where they're going to, but like essentially like what happens is that like him and a couple of other people from his entertainment company, who all are joined together by secrets that I'm not going to tell you about because that's part of the plot of the show. They are all flying in a plane to go somewhere together. So it's like him and his stylist, and there's like managers, there's an actress, there's other like members of the former K-pop boy band. Chanyeol's part of that, like,
and Chanyeol's
crew.
there.
I was gonna say, isn't Chanyeol in that?
Yeah, Chanyeol is there too.
Tenuously,
there.
yes. Yes, Chanyeol appears in it.
He's there. And while they're flying, the plane crashes. And the way that they set up the show is that, like, in the very beginning, all you see is the stylist, who has, it's like present day stylist who has been found, and she's alive from this plane crash. And so she doesn't remember anything that had happened about the plane crash, or like how she survived, or like how like things are going. Like, she just knows that she's now back in Korea, and they're all trying to figure out what happened. Like, everybody's trying to, you know, get questions and answers from her, because very much like played as a mystery thriller, kind of. So like you find out through like flashbacks of like her and then other characters, like you kind of find out what happens on the island and how like they survive and how they do stuff and what happens on the island, because a lot of things happen on the island, like murder and mayhem, and secrets are very much like present, and everybody hates each other because of one specific thing. And so the whole show is like roughly about like you trying to figure out what's like going on with this one incident with like the main majority of the people at this entertainment company, and there's also like, you know, members from everywhere who have stake in the company, and they're all like doing all those like classic drama things, and for the most part, at least for the first like half of the show, it does kind of stick to the thriller aspect of it. There's like tiny light moments when they're on the island that they kind of crash into, but for the most part it's like kind of dark. Is like the threat of a serial killer type thing happening throughout the entire thing. And then like, I don't know when the like official change was. It was a little over halfway through. It decides it wants to have comedy. And it has
the show was
like I'm talking about My Demon is nowhere near comedic. Like it's absurd. It's like really nervingly like stupid, and like it's just like it's not doing well when people have died and like people are getting murdered, and they have like a bit where she's like teaching someone how to throw in the middle of a hallway, like at a hotel. Like they're like, oh, we need to like, you know, add 3 minutes to the length of this drama, so we're gonna have this stupid bit. It's crashing. It's definitely not gonna be one of my favorites.
no.
But here I am. I remember some stuff about it, but like I never really had interest in the show, so I never remembered any of the things about it. So like things are like, the reveals are like not something I know about, so that's a thing. But yeah, and like I really like, not just because I really like the genre, the show should have stayed thriller. Like it should have. That's what it was supposed to do. It was like clearly what it was supposed to do. Honestly, the show was set up to be a slasher, like very clearly, like
Yeah.
in the very beginning, it's very much set up to be a slasher. It never does become a slasher, but like there's
That's
no
a very
reason it
like
should have.
80s slasher premise. Like
Yeah,
yeah,
like
you
so
know?
like there's a lot like in it. Like you're just like, wow, you kind of like really failed at that, and then yeah, it was just, and you know, he like the lead, his character is always annoying. Like,
Mhm.
so there is that. He never, like, up until 13 or whatever, like, the episodes where you see him in various different times, he's kind of still annoying and, like, a toddler, and, like, he's the love interest, so you're like, that's kind of gross, but oh well. But, like, it is what it
So,
is.
what is the likelihood that you will be able to finish it, or do you have? Is there any chance that you
Okay.
would drop it at this point?
Not currently, but like I'm also, it's not one that I'm actually like super focused on,
Mhm.
so that might be helping. I'm still a lot of unanswered things that like I'm sure they won't answer all of them the way that things are going, because it just seems like they're just like just deciding they don't want to write anything anymore. But I'm kind of hoping, because I am kind of in that like, you know, height of the like last quarter of the show,
Yeah.
you know, so
you just want to see how they do it.
yeah, I kind of want, I just want to figure out
Yeah,
things.
see, I'm about to say something.
Okay, you can tell me not to like.
I need you to finish this show.
Okay,
Because
well, it really,
That'll help. That'll make a
I
difference.
need you
episodes
to
left.
then come and record a Noonas After Dark about this show with me.
Okay, absolutely.
Because I need
will.
your take on the end of the show is all I have to say.
Okay, I will say, like, as a spoiler, or not a spoiler, but a warning, because it is very prevalent in it. There is a character who commits suicide or assumed whatever, and you see that happen multiple times, so it is very trigger warning on that. Also, if you are not a fan of plane crashes, don't watch this, because they do show most of the plane crash. And like there is like scenes where you're kind of seeing people die. It's not very gruesome or anything, but it's still there. So I want that, like, because like this last period half of the show is very much like comedy that doesn't, you don't think the like spoil or the trigger warnings I just told you are a thing, but they are, and especially because the very beginning of the show, you see a lot of that. It does like have like, it does like, the thriller of it is definitely more mahjong than it is like a normal thriller, so there is that, and I'm allowing that like sort of thing to be okay, because it is like the premise is wacky and crazy, so like you're not like expecting realism. It's just like these past couple of episodes where it's just like absurd, the level of comedy. Like when you're like pitting it against like rom-coms, and rom-coms aren't like even matching up to like the amount of comedy you're starting to see in these, like, just all of a sudden in these like couple of episodes, I'm like, we're still like talking about people dying and stuff, and this is politics.
People are dying, Kim.
Yeah. But I mean, I guess if you want to kind of see Daniel, he's in it a little bit.
Yeah, he appears. Okay.
Yeah, he's more of appearance. I don't even think at any point he sings in it. None of them do. I don't think. You do see like sometimes like them in the recording booth, or like, you know, being like besties, like, because there's like the good old days of the K-pop group that it's gonna become really popular. Yeah. Although I will say the real lesson you learn in this entire show is that if you are going to be on a plane and that plane crashes, make sure you are with a girl who's from Jeju Island, whose mom and all of her relatives are divers.
Divers.
Yes. That's the real
Yeah.
takeaway from everything in this drama. It's like, oh, okay, I see how we did that. Okay,
It's like, this chick, protect her. Make sure she makes it.
this is
Yeah.
the
You
one.
need her.
She's the one who actually knows how to fish. So she's the one who knows how to do anything. But
That's handy. Yeah.
yeah, I will definitely watch it, and then we can record something. Yeah. See, I'm just intrigued at that point. I'm just.
Yeah, because
Right.
I
I mean, I am.
I can't say anything more. I
No,
can't say
no, no.
anything more.
But I'm also
to
just intrigued in general because I am in a part where it is kind of you can tell we're at the ramp up part again, because I was living in that kind of weird world where things are falling into place, but it's not questions are being answered.
But also one thing I just want to touch upon just for a second is it also brings up, just even if you weren't super intrigued, there are times, like you said, you've been leisurely watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's just nice to a show that you're maybe not super duper into,
Mm-hmm.
but it's filling the air enough for you. You're interested enough in be it the people in it or a bit of the plot or something to where it's not everything has to be high art. Not everything has to be good, or even like you're saying.
Sure.
There's no way it's going to be a top drama for. Not everything needs to be a top drama for you.
That's true.
That's
you don't
okay.
have to. Yeah. It
No, I
doesn't.
mean, when you're super skinny on time,
absolutely,
you have to be more vicious with things
definitely
like that.
Been one. I think maybe probably part of this that helped is it was kind of the drama that I had on. Maybe sometimes I would be doing something else with the knowledge that I'm going to miss half of it because I can't do something else because I don't know Korean, so I can't actually be legitimately folding my laundry enough to actually know what's going on, especially with the thriller. But I was doing the thing where I'd watch an episode and then go do something, and then watch an episode and go do something. So it was kind of my in between of doing stuff, chores and stuff. So it was kind of just a little leisurely break. And then, also when I'm at work and just rolling fabric, I'm okay, throw on an episode.
Yeah.
No. Cool. Amanda?
I finally finished, because I had the time, I finally finished Natalia, To the Moon and Back, which is a Thai drama that I started many months ago.
Many moons ago, yes.
Many moons ago. This is the one that when we did the What's Coming Up, the description for this drama was girl meets a guy because he's stuffing a baby's body in a dumpster or whatever.
Cake.
But it was cake that he was making for that is such a small part of this drama. It is over in 3 seconds, and then he bakes cakes. That's their thing. He teaches her how to bake, but they never make a realistic cake again.
If that makes somebody watch the drama, though.
It's true.
So, but the basic premise of this whole show, really the overarching story of it all is parents and how they can mess up their kids, and how they can raise their kids well, and how they can raise their kids terribly, and how they can traumatize their children, and how they can help their children to blossom, and how there are a lot of really terrible parents in this, and of course they all get redemption arcs.
I was gonna say, are there redemption arcs for every single one of those?
Pretty much. I mean, pretty much. And they do a fairly good job of giving you some good reasoning. It's still terrible, and you're still we didn't work hard enough for this. But part of that is that it also gets a little, the last few episodes, it almost feels like it's 21 episodes, and it feels like maybe they thought they had 22 or 24 episodes, and then they didn't. And so they were okay, we've still got these other storylines that we have to kind of get in these last 2 episodes. So go. And you're no, when that mother is that abusive for that much of the drama, I'm going need more than like, you know,
Sorry.
5 minutes and a single conversation to like
Yeah.
get me there. But, you know, episode 18, I'm like, oh, I hope she gets trampled by elephants. And then that the elephants come to her funeral and trample her again. Like, that's how bad she was. And by the end, she's, you know, having a family dinner with everybody. And you're like,
Great.
really? Okay. Sure.
Okay.
So,
I guess
Sometimes dramas like this, like when they do that, it's like, this feels like propaganda. Like,
Yeah.
this feels
Yeah.
like family propaganda, if
for
anything.
sure.
Yeah.
Now, the best part of it is that the main family in it is Natalada's family, which is not a traditional family unit. So Natalada, who is the main character, played by an actress named Tui, she was raised by her father, who her father and her mother amicably separated when she was young, when her father came out of the closet and decided he had to live his life honest to himself. His name is Grace. Now he's a very famous drag queen who runs a club. He has Needy, who is a very common like GMM TV actor. He's in everything. He plays Aunt Kitty, who is one of the drag queens that works with him. There's the twins, who are a couple of transgender girls, and there's Auntie V, who is a famously transgender actress in Thailand. And it's really cool because they have frequent conversations about how gay and transgender doesn't look the same for everybody and things like that. So, because one of the main plots is that Daddy Grace, when he announces that he's divorcing his wife, and because of this, his dad beats him up and kicks him out of the house and is like, I don't ever come back here. And later there is like, that's the main redemption arc of the story, is like Nata she moves back to Bangkok because she wants to meet her grandparents and she wants to reunite her dad with his parents. And eventually, you know, the grandpa's not like a terrible human being. And there's a lot of conversations that happen, and it's really good. Like, he gets the redemption arc that you're like, yes, deserved. Like, he works, he does the work, right? And they have a whole conversation. Like, he's sitting with this group of women and men, you know, and going, I don't get it. Like, so do you, like, to his son, like, do you want to be a woman? He's like, I don't. I thought for a time that I did, that's not who I am. I'm a drag queen, but I'm not transgender. That's, you know, and okay. He's like, I'm confused. And then like Auntie V is like, I am transgender, like fully operational The twins are like, we do what we want, and you know, and like
we just living our lives, man.
Right?
Don't worry about it.
And then like Needy's character is like, no, I'm a guy. I'm 100%. I'm just a gay man who likes dancing and singing. Like, we're all in different places, but we all just accept who we are, and we're just happy to love each other and look after each other. There's nothing romantic going on between any of us. We're just a family unit that raised this kid. And so they have great conversations about mental health, because Meta was bullied as a child for not having the traditional family unit and for having a dad who was a drag queen and everything. And her dad went, well, this isn't good. Let's go to a therapist. Like, good job. And
normal, what should be a normal response. Okay.
Right? And he went with her because he knew he had issues, and this was his first time parenting a child through these, you know, so I'm also going to go to the therapist, and we're going to get therapy, kid, and we're going to do this right. And she's so well adjusted, and she's so just kind and loving and forgiving of everything. Like, and she sees right through people. So like the doctor that she has the romance with has a cousin who has always felt like he was second best, and he has stolen every girlfriend the doctor has ever had because he could.
Yeah.
And so he tries to steal Mata, and she's like, no, sweetie, I'm not with him because he's pretty.
You're sweet. You're sweet.
You know?
No.
And she's like, but also let me like delve right into, like this guy's crying because she's like seeing right into his soul,
She's reading him for filth right now. Like,
yeah.
Excuse
so,
me. Were you not hugged by your father enough? Like,
yeah.
let's get into this. Like,
so there's a lot of really good conversations. Sometimes it does veer a little too into like after school special. The conversations go a little hard, and you're like, all right, that doesn't really feel like a conversation real people would have that way, but I'll allow it, whatever. And then the last couple episodes they get kind of choppy, and you're like suddenly over here, and you're like, whoa, I had to go check, did I miss an episode somewhere? Because it was like, what am I looking at right now? And then they, there were some side characters that they sort of will they, won't they a little bit, but like never really hardcore. And then suddenly sort of like final episode, you're like, oh, they will. Okay. Like, sure. But overall, really good. Like probably one of my top dramas for the year. I really liked the conversations, the acting. The main couple are just so freaking adorable, and he's so repressed because again his dad was not a good dad, gets way too much redemption way too fast, but whatever. And like the two of them together is just so cute. Like it's so, when he does smile, it's always at her, and it's always just his whole face. Like it's, and he's like never stood up to his dad in his life, but like this is something worth fighting for. This I will fight for because this is my family, and this family has embraced me now, and I want that, and I'm not giving it up. Now that I know what a family that loves each other can feel like, I ain't going back. Like that, no. So it's it's just really nice, and it's in a place that you can watch, probably if you Google it.
We believe in you.
You can find. Believe in your dreams. Believe in your dreams. On I-80, if you know what I mean.
How about you, Sky?
So it's hard for me to pick which one I want to talk about, but I think I'm going to go with one that I've watched 4 episodes of. It's currently, I believe it's still currently airing. It's on Viki. It is a C drama called Sunshine by My Side. That, it was, how Viki does like at the very top, it's like, we're pushing this one specifically for you at this moment. Well, it has Zhao Jan, like, that he's the main fella in it, so it's like
Jan, we do.
I was like, and I had already seen a bit of a promo for it, and I knew this was, and again, I know that the terminology is specifically Korean, but it's a Noonas romance. Like that's what this show is. So I was like, I'll give this an episode watch to like see where we're going with this. So yeah, 4 episodes. If I had more time, I would have I stayed up. I wanted to stay up a couple more hours, but I was like, man, my eyes are getting heavy, after 4 episodes. But, I would have... So, again, I'm not going to spoil anything. There's nothing really to spoil. But, so, it is currently airing 36 episodes. There are a lot already on... Looks like it might be on iQIYI as well. So, maybe... I didn't go compare how many episodes here and how many episodes there. Probably by the time I say that, the episode numbers are going to be way different anyway, so there you go.
Yeah.
But essentially, it looks like there's a Taiwanese original story was My Dear Boy.
Oh,
back in 2017.
Oh, okay.
I enjoy that one.
Yeah.
So there we go. Maybe I don't even need to say much after that. But so it is a remake. So far it's really well done. It starts off centering on his character. He's just kind of a put upon design fellow who works really hard, and then kind of doesn't get respect from his boss, and obviously has kind of avoided any romantic entanglements because he was inspired by her when he was younger and just kind of has always been trying to find her again, but like not in a creepy way. But in a somewhat romantic way. Like in a non-stalker way, but in a, oh, is that female director her? No, it's not. Okay, so. And so then it moves to centering on her character, and she is a female director, and so that comes, all these old dudes giving her guff for being a chick, being a director, and the fact that her husband is kind of the more notable director, and so, well, that's why she's good, is because of him, and they've been married, like, they've been together for 10 years, they've been, or a long time. So then you eventually see, and you can tell their relationship's already not great, but you can see there was some cheating, or at least flirt cheating going on, if you want to believe him, which, whatever. So, but not just one instance, like she has been putting up with that for a really long time. So she's like, we're gonna divorce. Like, she just got very done. But not just with that. They have a great conversation, and she's like, lays it all on the table, and he's like, no, and she goes, too bad, this is what we're doing. So I'm done. I really, really like her character. She's very forthcoming. She's great. And as she walked out, you heard him yelling, like, you've been poisoned by the feminist stuff on the internet, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
And she's way gone already. She's like, she's not gonna mess with it. So, and they interact, like, as far as happen upon each other. Of course, she gets drunk because she's dealing with this, and he is nice and all these things. I'm not going to get into blow by blow of this. Even 4 episodes in, I'm sure they're eventually going to work together somehow, because he's kind of designed for ad agency stuff. She seems to be a director for ads. Easy. I can see that this is going to be a workplace thing eventually. But I wasn't to that point. So I really enjoy it. Everyone acted really well so far. Of course, if you've already seen the other one, it might be shot.
Well, it sounds very no, that sounds really different, because like my dear boy, he's like 17 or 18 when they meet, and it's like, it tells they stay friends, like they stay connected.
Yeah, it takes a really long time.
They don't get together until like years later, but like it's a friendship, like it's a story of how she mentors him, and
she's like more mentor, yeah.
That's fascinating, because like so for this one, the way this is different is they just, whenever he was young, and essentially his dad was a sanitation worker, and she made an ad for sanitation workers and made it very artful, and like told the story of why those workers are important, and he had been ashamed of his dad, so he's standing there watching her ad, and she walks up and is like, hey, I made that, and he's blown away by this ad, this PSA type thing, but it also changed his view of his dad, and so it changed his family dynamic, like that all improved, like changed his life so much that's why he went into design and ads and things, because like she changed his life. But that was the one interaction. Cool. That's it. And so then they only meet up just because, like, but he of course recognizes her because he's been looking for, he looks different because they're, again, a different actor, because kid actor versus him. Yeah. But so, she doesn't recognize him or anything. And she made a ton of PSAs, so she doesn't even remember that PSA in particular. But anyway, so far I like their dynamic, but it's not even that. It was, I even just appreciated the sentiment of, like, it's not even highly romantical by episode 4. There's a lot to go. You're 36 episodes or whatever.
Yeah, it does sound like the, like, general, like, tone of the show is the same as the original. Wasn't the original he was the waiter at the restaurant she goes to. Was that what it was?
That feels
I feel like it was
familiar.
like
I think he might have been.
or like he was on a date at another table.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that's what
Something
happened
like
with
that.
this
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
He went on forced to go on a blind date by his mom.
Mm.
And the chick's not showing up. He's getting stood up. And so but he keeps calling his mom, "Can I leave now?" No. So he's sitting there eating. And she eventually comes out, outside of the restaurant and then comes inside. And he kind of overhears, he's like, "It's her. I've been looking for her for forever. And she's right there." But obviously super upset about something. I can't do. But she sees him staring, and because she's had this blow up with the gonna be ex-husband about, I can flirt with people too. So like a little bit of flirting, that type of thing. So, still, that's probably similar.
Yeah, and he definitely I think he looks at her because he's very much intrigued by her and the way that she handles the entire situation. I think that's the main thing that makes him stop and pay attention to her. Because I don't even remember if he was stood up.
I don't
or is it
remember.
already a friend?
Yeah, I don't remember, but the restaurant part sounds,
All I remember also her husband or whoever he is in the other drama I don't remember is the guy from CSI, and that's the only thing that I remember about it. The American actor.
It's Archie.
You're like, oh wow.
So the kicker with him being stood up in this one. You said so the next day you figure out, oh, here's the new intern, the chick that stood him up the night
classic
before, who got her little position, through the back door. She has connections, stuff
nepotism.
like that. And she's just trying out different fields. She's not even that, into this field at all, doesn't know anything about design, anything. And so he's not a person that usually has a chip on his shoulder, but he goes after her pretty bad.
You know what? Understandable. Yeah. I did just check. All the episodes are out on iQIYI for VIP at least.
Oh, sweet.
So if you want to watch them, they're all there on iQIYI if you have a VIP account, which is iQIYI's real cheap. So if you like Cdramas, we're not paid. This is not an ad. We're not paid by iQIYI. I'm just a passionate iQIYI user.
Also, to be clear about the age, they actually, for the first 4 episodes, I'm not sure they ever said the female character's age. They did say the dude character's age, 26.
No.
And so, and she's like, "Oh, just a kid," and he's like, "I'm not a kid."
26 is a bit much to be just a kid, but okay.
So to emphasize, we're talking adults. This is not a creepy thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, but the tone and stuff was really good, and the pace was real good too. It didn't seem to be dragging or anything. So I thought it was pretty good.
Nice.
I forgot to even go look and see if it was on iQIYI, but yeah.
Well, I did for you. Don't worry about it.
How about you, Natalia?
So okay, on a real vibe switch from my last one, TikTok got me again. Because TikTok has this thing where someone will post randomly just a scene from a drama, and the drama is one that you haven't seen and it looks intriguing, okay?
Yeah.
And this scene from this drama starred 2 actors that I really like. One was Lee Jang-woo, who played the villain in Heavenly Idol, which was one of my favorite shows of that type that's come out, and Daddy. And I also had Im Soo Hyang, from Gangnam Beauty. My idea is Gangnam Beauty.
Yeah.
And then she seemed like a badass, and I was like, okay, let's check it out. So I started watching a drama from 2019. It's on Viki, called Graceful Family.
Ooh,
when I tell you, this title is a bit of a joke, because these are the most unhinged, ungraceful people you've ever met. So it sort of follows this security department within this giant conglomerate whose job is protecting the basically protecting the company. And they do that by basically controlling the lives of the very dysfunctional Chabal family that owns this company. So you have the head, which is, so the grandpa's in a coma. Okay, you've got the dad.
Because of course he is.
Of course he is. He starts out in a coma. You've got the dad, and he's just there. And then you've got the evil stepmom, who has 2 adult sons, and then you have the mistress, and then the mistress's son. And then come back from America, who comes back in the beginning, is the daughter, who's from his first wife. So the legitimate, heir of the family, who they've been hiding in America since Gramps went into a coma, because Gramps was like, I want her to inherit the company. And then they were like, oh. And so she's convinced that one of them killed her mom. And so she's there to fucking get revenge, but is foiled at every stage of the way by this very devious lady head of security ex-judge who's like, I can't let any of what you're saying, true or not, become public because I have to protect the shareholders and the continuity of this company. And so she meets up with this lawyer, who they might have a connection from back in the day that they didn't know about, who she then gets to infiltrate this security company as their new, one of their new recruits to help her find information and get revenge.
They kind of suck at this security business.
No, when I tell you, they don't. This is the most cynical show about capitalism that I've seen in a really long time. And I'm about to give a little spoiler, so flip ahead a little if you don't want to be spoiled from a multi-year-old drama. There was one plot line that I grew very worried about, that I even texted Sky about, because I was
she was telling me about
very worried about it. So this is the spoiler for this, something that happens in the second half, but I think it's very important to note to show how cynical this show is. One of the oldest sibling is married to this woman, and this woman's like, we've never had sex, we're there's something wrong with him. I'm pretty sure that he has another woman. And so this company's like, yeah, we know there's a woman who goes into this apartment he owns. But we've been covering it up because he can't, we gotta hide everything. Turns out, so they're like, okay, we're gonna expose this to get to the bottom of this guy, because she's trying to blow up the whole family. Turns out, not his girlfriend, because the older sibling is trans, and that's his woman who buys him all of his clothes so he can go to his apartment and wear women's clothing and be her true self. The actor playing this character was excellent, by the way, Kim Jin-woo. He's a musical actor. So then this all gets found out, and the dad's homophobic about it, and the mom's like, I always knew, but we're gonna hide it. And then this lady, this judge who's the head of it, is like, I don't care that you're trans. In fact, if people find out you're trans, we gotta head this out to the beginning. Let's start marketing towards the queer community and bringing in pink money, so that you're making so much money that if you get outed, no one will care, because you've made so much money off of gay people that they'll just accept you because they only care about money. And I was just sitting here this is the most cynical plot line I've ever seen in my entire life.
So Natalia's concern was, of course, the character getting outed and it could have gone very south very quickly, but she did not foresee this cynical, capitalistic
realistic, cynical angle where it's like, listen, we'll get you an even privater apartment where you can be trans in private as long as you like act as a man in public and keep making us money off of gay people. And I'm sitting here like, what the fuck is this show?
Wow.
So the show that's the vibe of the whole show. It's very mock-jang. It's very over the top. I thought it was a well done show. It had a little bit of ham-fisted romance shoved in there because of, you know, they're like, we got two hot people. It didn't, to be honest, it didn't need it. It didn't need it at all, but like, whatever. Im Soo-hyun was incredible in it. She was so mean. She was so mean the whole show. And just like, just delightfully mean. She stalked around in these incredible outfits, just being a bitch to everyone. But like, not in a way that you're like, wow, she really shouldn't be mean to people. Like, no, everyone deserved her being mean to them. Yeah, it was a wild show. The brothers were delightful. Just, you know, we got the fuck up brother. We've got the good at business brother. We've got the little brother that no one cares about because he's the son of the mistress. It's got it all. The show's got everything you're looking for. If that's what you're like, looking for. You just finished Perfect Marriage Revenge and you're like, I want to watch a more ridiculous, slightly less good Perfect Marriage Revenge. Graceful Family's waiting. It's there for me, you know? And that's on Viki, and it's 16 episodes. They're like an hour 10 minutes, you know, ish. You know how that fluctuates in size. But yeah, the actors, Bae Jang-uk, who plays like the judge turned evil security head. First off, eyeliner on point the whole show. No matter what she was doing, that eyeliner could cut a man. But secondly, so evil. And I love a female villain. I love it.
We support women's rights
and
women's
wrongs.
And she's so bad. But like, she's so bad in a very like calm, I'm doing this for the good of the company sort of way.
The calm evil is the stuff that like gives you chills.
Like none of the stuff she does is personal. You know what I mean? Like, she's not doing it because she hates you.
Yeah.
It's just, this is what we gotta do to protect the shareholders' interest. And it's just like...
Anytime a character is a judge or a former judge or something, I'm like, oh, they're going to be...
Sinestro is all I have to say. Yeah, she's... So it's just a bunch of bad people doing bad things, and then like the good old boy lawyer getting pulled into it. Good times. It's good times. I had fun watching it. So yeah, that was that. Jessie, what you got? What you got?
So I haven't really been watching a lot of stuff. I will be next week because I'll be at my parents' and probably doing not much of anything. So we'll definitely be using. Yeah. Next month is gonna be great. And then everything that I kind of like started back watching, I've actually already talked about on the on past episodes, or I don't really want to spend a lot of time on it. So I thought I would continue our discussion about a drama that we already started and already talked about because I'm really liking it, and that's My Demon.
Oh, me too.
I'm not going to spoil it. It's not like a spoiler thing. I just want to talk a little bit more now that we are like halfway through the series, essentially. Has everybody caught up? I don't know.
I
think I'm just to episode 3 is all I got.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna like spoil or anything, but I just want to. I really like it.
One thing I want to inquire, and this is totally not a spoiler because you can keep it super vague. Yeah. Are there other supernatural type characters that pop up, or does it kind of just have like?
Not yet, but
no, not that I've seen.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if it's a spoiler or not.
Okay. That's all I was wondering. Whereas
you could close your ears really fast and I can tell you.
You know how some shows within a few episodes it's like it kind of unfurls like, over here's just kind of, and it can be like a one-off character and it'll be like, oh yeah, they're whatever, and then like you move on, they're this and there's that. Like Tale of the Nine-Tailed, like you're sitting there, you have like a whole array of all these people.
It's not Tale of Nine-Tailed, but there is another character that you figure out who they are,
Okay.
and they're technically supernatural.
Okay.
I mean, you know, other people may say something about that type person, you know, in another way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like it might not be a super spoiler. You just kind of like naturally figure out the character. I don't know.
Hmm.
Is this serial killer being serial killery?
Yes.
Oh,
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, serial killers out
we
there.
talked about
being
80s slasher. That's like totally the 80s horror
Mhm.
vibes all with him. Like that's all they do with him, and it's
Delightful.
really, really good because he just keeps it up. He just keeps the
Yep.
level that he is, and he's always around, and he's always just like in the corner, and she's like always seeing him, and it's creepy.
Even his
Good.
first couple of scenes were like, okay, he's unnerving. Like,
Yeah.
he's scary.
Yeah, very.
He's
Yeah.
played by the guy who played one of like the apartment complex dwellers in Vincenzo. He
Mhm.
was
Okay.
he was like the guy who was an interpretive dancer in Vincenzo who had like a dance studio, and he's delightful in this. And by
I thought you were going to
delightful,
say
I don't
Strangers
mean-
from Hell. When you said
Yeah,
apartment, I thought you
No,
were
no,
Strangers
no,
from
right.
Hell.
not that level. But like, and when I say delightful, I don't mean that he's like fun and I mean like his acting is a delight to watch
Yeah.
as someone who enjoys horror and
Yeah.
enjoys serial killer things. He's delightfully good
Yeah.
at playing this awful character.
Mm.
I love
I
it.
think
I'm so glad Jessie
I'm
likes it
really,
too.
really liking it. I mean, like, it's definitely like, if we're gonna go in any sort of rom-com, this is it. Like, this is squarely in the like Doom, Hotel de Luna,
Mhm.
Goblin, like rom-com area,
Yeah.
where it's not like really rom-com. It's I guess maybe what happens is that like when you add a fantasy level, writers take away a lot of the comedy for the fantasy. I feel like that's what happens, and so that might be it. I also think that like the comedy is really not that crazy and not that pronounced. It's a lot in the secondary characters, so it's a lot with the secretary and his butler character, or like the gangsters. Like it's just in that. And what I like finally figured out why I probably really am into this drama is that like everything's so intentional. And I don't know why I didn't pick this up like before. So it's intentional that he's in a theater. Like it's intentional that where he's like being themed, because the whole drama is it's a play. It's literally set up like a play. So like anything that like is kind of like weird or random, it's done like a play would do it, like or like a musical where you're like you switch from breaking into song, that kind of like jar, and it just like works really well. I also Song Kang's character is just like so much fun because he's like
so much fun,
so into her, and he doesn't understand why.
Simp energy. Listen, Jessie
So
texts
into
me
her.
and she goes, "I'm caught up on my drama. This is 1000%
It's
your
when-
type
yeah.
of drama." And
You
I
know
was
how it was like
"Yes, it
Twinkling
is."
Watermelon was like Sky. This is like everything that Natalia loves.
Yeah.
But like it's so funny because he's got like he's simp, but he's also got like the Tarzan vibe where he just doesn't know what humans are. So it's like he'll like be mean, and then she'll do something. She'll like say why it was mean or something like that, or respond to it, and she's like, "Oh, okay," and then he just accepts it and moves on. You're like, "Oh." He just doesn't know how to human, so like he just doesn't get these things.
He's just a little guy. He's just a guy.
He's never been
He's a little guy.
before. And now he's like feeling these like feelings for like this is his like first crush, and he's really liking her, and they have to chard. He charges by holding her.
Oh,
I love it.
It's great. I'm really enjoying it. Like, I think it's gonna have some good turns. And I still really love her with our favorite lady who I've like. Apparently, she's not our favorite. I can't remember the actress's name.
Kim Hae-suk.
You know, yeah, Kim Hae-suk. Her and the lead actress are so good together. They're so good. I love them. But yeah, it's fun. If you like classic K-dramas, but like they intentionally like do everything a little bit different, they're like, fine, I'll put that in there and just be weird about it. Like,
Yeah.
this is it. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying
I look forward to catching up with it. I just haven't had the time.
I know. I did the thing where I was like, no, Jessie, because I've been thinking about it. I was like, no, Jessie, wait. And then I like turned it on and I was like, oh, I have to work. Oh,
no, every Saturday I'm like, time to catch up on the stories. But I
mean, it was really nice. It's a good binge. Out. It's definitely a good binge. Like, I will say, if you can wait, maybe wait.
Just like, I'm even behind on a Good Day to Be a Dog. But like, I saw that it's only like 4 or 5 episodes, like it's going to be 5 episodes by the time this comes out. And I'm like, that's just a good binge moment.
That's just like a day to yourself,
Because it was painful. An episode
it's having to stop. It's jarring, and then like it's nice to be like keep on going. You're like, there's a little bit of a cliffhanger. Oh well, I've still got more episodes. Let's go.
Right.
I do think her prediction or the want with the butler and the secretary is going to happen though, so I'm very excited.
I feel like it might be coming to fruition.
Yes.
I love that secretary though.
Yeah.
Like she is cool.
And they definitely have heightened more of the office workers. Like their storylines and like seeing them, and it's like very much Secretary Kim-esque, that very like they're like, a lot of the comedy, but they're very sweet and they just kind of like want the best for everyone, but they're also like his friends now, like they taught him how to like make coffee
because he's just an employee, right? So they're trying to like pull him in to like their club.
It's very cute. There's some really sweet moments in it.
It was a show that was made for me.
It was made for Natalia.
Someone listened to this podcast and thought, I want to write a show for Natalia. And then produced my demon and was like, here you go. And I said, nom, 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 nom. I love it. Nice. So, before we get going to end in this episode, let's do our quick, speed round. Amanda, anything else you want to tell people about real quick?
I finally started Perfect Marriage Revenge with my sister. We love it. Yeah, I saw somebody on Twitter who said Perfect Marriage Revenge is the revenge drama for people who don't like revenge dramas, and I get that because it's never quite kind of as it doesn't give me anxiety. It doesn't give me that things are going to be good for her. Like, because
the stakes might seem the stakes seem a little bit lower? Because often revenge dramas, the stakes are high, like coming out.
The stakes are pretty high, but like
they're high, but like I don't know how to explain it other than consistently the bad guys get theirs and the good guys are like throughout. It's not sort of like 8 episodes of like this gut wrenching, and then like finally it's like it's continual.
Bit by bit.
Like it's like little revenges along the way, and Sung-hoon just
Sung-hoon in his way through
Sung-hoon
so good. I'm still watching Family: The Unbreakable Bond, which it is a really weird drama. Like it is like a pendulum swing between like dark spy drama and family drama comedy, and the pendulum swing gets like bigger, so it gets dark, like you're watching torture that's like creepy, and then like family hijinks, and it goes and this swing, like it starts here at the beginning of the drama and it gets and you're like, what is going on? But I think I kind of figured out where they're going with, like, the way they do it. It's almost like they're trying to show you the lengths that you're going to go to be able to hold on to this. Like, I have this and I need it and I love it, and I will do what I got to do to make sure I get to keep this. So that's why it swings, and it's really good. Like, it's really like the funny parts are funny. The family unit is like perfect, and the dark stuff, you're like, that is disturbing, but like also like I can watch it. Like it's it's dark and it's disturbing, but like I'm not like okay, I can't watch this anymore. Like, it's not that kind of, it's just, yeah, but it's good. And then, yeah, I've been watching Christmas Hallmark movies. So I've watched Writer in a Small Town, Historian in a Small Town. This is not the titles of them.
I was about to say, are those the titles?
No, they're not the plot. The plot.
Are you sure they're not?
Siblings inherit a castle in a small town in Scotland.
Classics, all of them.
Yeah.
You know, big city gay in a small town.
I mean, obviously.
Nibblings, baker in a small town.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I've watched Eddie Murphy with magical 12 Days of Christmas and Candy Cane Lane, which actually has some really fun special effects. I enjoyed that. And Merry Little Batman about...
Oh, I was interested in that one, yeah.
It's ridiculous. I thought it was hilarious. I really enjoyed it. My 12-year-old thought it was dumb. So...
What is he now?
Kids these days, if it's not Skibbity Toilet, they don't want it. Like...
It is, right? It's... Merry Little Batman is Home Alone meets The Grinch That Stole Christmas mixed with every single version of Batman that exists. Like,
love it.
So, like, it's wild, but I really enjoyed it. I thought it was
whenever there's meta Batman stuff, I get a bit like Lego Batman. That's good shit. Like, that's real funny.
Right, and this has that vibe to it. Like, literally at one point, Damien, the little Batman, is with the Joker, and the Joker sings like that, you know, Robin laid an egg, right? Like,
yeah.
There's no Robin in this. They're kind of whatever, but like, it just it doesn't matter. Nonsense, but it's so much fun. So, yeah, that's been what I've been doing.
Oh, that's fun.
So I've been watching a lot of stuff. I'm gonna start talking about 2 drama specials. I won't like tell the ending or anything, but so drama specials, these are like an hour and a bit is how long they are. So the first one's Love Attack. It does have the kid from Moving in it, the kid with glasses. So it's, I'm trying to remember that. I think I watched that like right after our last What We're Watching episode, so it's been a while. But I really did enjoy it. It was so college setting, and essentially he's a privileged, like from a privileged family, has money, doesn't have to do like side jobs or anything during college time, and he just dedicates his time to all of his studies and all that stuff, okay? But he can only get to number 2. And the number 1 girl has a ton of part-time jobs, like supports her grandmother, you know, no matter how much time she doesn't spend, like she cannot spend a ton of time studying like him because she just has to keep her family together. And so that like frustrates him. So he gets an idea from his buddy. Hey, if you like confess to her, you'll throw her off her game and then she'll like bomb her midterm or whatever. And then you'll be number 1. And so so he does that, and he's like intentionally super cringy about it, and she knows, like, but because she's trying to get back at him, she goes along with it just to frustrate. So like they end up fake dating essentially, like it's this whole thing. But does he get taken back to the countryside to meet the grandmother and like realize what life is really like and figure out that he was a shit person and like all these things? Yes. Like it's so good, guys. Like I really suggest that people go check it out. Like it's a really fun one-off. It's a really good one. Great acting, whole shebang. So the second drama special, Cinema, I don't know why it was indicated that this is cinema. I don't think it was any longer than the others, but whatever, we'll just go along with it. This is the one that Astro Sanha is in. It's labeled as Josie and Chef's like American English side of things, but I think I'm not going to be able to pronounce this correctly, but it's of course a take on, there was this guy in Korean history, that he wrote like the first cookbook, the first detailed, really cool cookbook, and like so people know about Sun Jap-bang. Like that's this. So it ends up telling the story of there's a low-born guy who is a chef, essentially a traveling chef. When men weren't supposed to be handling things in the kitchen, only women were supposed to because of all the ideologies at the time. And then you have Sanha's character is like the second son of a noble family who keeps failing his exam to like become a scholar thing, and it's like this whole shebang. But he's kind of always had an interest in food, been in love with food, and so he kind of becomes the assistant apprentice to this low-born chef guy. And shenanigans ensue from there. Is there a slight... There's a little bit of chemistry there between those two characters, but that it's not... They purposefully lean into it, like as far as, oh, he suddenly ties his apron around him, and it's a whole moment, and then they just move on from that. Like, we don't... It feels like the lowborn character might have a crush. Sanha's character, he doesn't ever register anything other than... He doesn't have a thought in his head in the first place, so, like, that's not anything new.
That's fair.
Okay.
But actually, so, like, it's kind of silly at moments, but it gets, like, push comes to shove, the king gets upset at a moment, you know, like, all of a sudden lives are on the line, you know, because that's the way that goes. But it was really good, and then at the end it kind of talks a little bit about the cookbook, like, kind of at the end it's like, oh, you know, this is how the cookbook came to be. It wasn't, like, this story, like, this fictionized anyway. So, fun. I thought it was cute. I thought it was a really good time. So that was that. Baby Vampire Blues. Okay.
I just saw
that. Those drama specials, I watched them on Kokowa. I think they're on Viki Plus as well, but like I watched it on Kokowa. And there are other drama specials as well. Those are the only two I watched so far. But Baby Vampire Blues. Okay. Natalia and Jessie, did you end up watching this?
I watched one episode.
I'm like on episode like 6.
I may have dropped it, but like...
Okay,
sorry.
I watched the whole thing because of course I did. I wanted to see what happened.
Fine.
So, listener, viewer, whatever you be, if you like What We Do in the Shadows level of idiot vampire mixed with just really poor execution of show,
yes,
go for it.
Questionable.
Like very timely.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm gonna go back.
They leaned into the. When was it made? Because it feels like 2020,
like
2021.
21. I think
Okay.
very front end of it.
Because it leaned into COVID so much. That's why I say that. It became like, why do we like? Oh, we have a shortage of blood because they can't. Their immune systems are like a little bit weaker than humans or something, so they can't just pick a rando off the street and suck their blood. Because what if they have COVID? Like that would be bad. So they're living off of essentially like, here's some freeze-dried blood that always anyway. But also, like, their coffins. So it's these two roommates. They're both idiots. One is a little bit smarter of an idiot, but they're both idiots. And they have different styles of coffins that are standing up to, like, go sleep in them and stuff. And one of them, like, looks good. One coffin looks legit-ish. One is hot glue gun trim around the cross on the front of it. It is so bad.
So janky.
It never gets better. It stays that bad. You end up having a character that's like this nearly immortal woman who's like she's had vampires drinking her blood for so long that she's like nearly immortal. Like she's trying to become a vampire, but essentially the patriarchy of Japanese vampiric circles like don't let women be vampires. And
it's so funny.
How many episodes is this thing? I'm gonna have to go.
I think it's 8.
8.
Okay,
It's a scared one.
I gotta say, at the last half of the very last episode, it leans hard on like talking about feminism and like they start really ripping into some stuff right at the very end, and they're like, we're gonna change all this, and like we're gonna do, and like anyway, prior to that, it really felt like it was essentially these two bumbling baby vampires, means they haven't sucked the blood from somebody yet, like directly. Yeah. Okay, like that, I don't know why that's a thing, but like that's a thing, I guess. And it means they don't have like all their stuff, but they have some powers, but like not great. But essentially they kind of find little humans that need a little bit of help, and then they end up helping them. Like they have these little arcs where they help people. Like it's super cute. Like that's really the themes of the show. And then they run a little coffee shop at night.
Yeah.
And the regulars there are kind of ragtag people. It's just,
but also,
anyway.
Isn't the coffee shop it's being hit by COVID too because of the restrictions?
Yes.
So they're not. That's like part of the reason they're also not getting as much money as they normally do.
So then it becomes like, hey, you should like open up for lunch, like make some food and make some more money. So they try to one day. They really try. It's just they keep falling asleep during the day.
Yeah.
It's the bumbling vampire thing. It's so silly. And there also becomes this question of, why do we have to just drink women's blood? What if I want to drink man's blood? What about that? Like, that became a question. So that was a thing. But anyway, Natalia, you gotta finish it so you can see at the very end of that last episode, because I was shooketh at the end. I was like, we just said all of this in this show. Like, it was interesting.
All right, well, I'm intrigued.
And sorry if that was a spoiler, anybody, but I was like, okay, we're like having a huge soapbox moment right at the end. Thank you. Like, I was not expecting that.
I mean, like, this is a show that's not really spoilers, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
it really is bumbling vampires dealing with COVID. Like, that's really what it was. So we all watched, this was our found family movie night thing. New Year Blues is the movie that we watched that we had mentioned earlier. It was it's like, here's a lot of couples. Like,
yeah. It's sort of like a Love Actually setup.
Yeah, like
everybody's
anthology.
And then even the side characters, it's like, you will know all of these people.
Yeah.
You have seen all of these
people. Everyone's
before.
connected somehow, like...
And everyone's famous.
Yeah. One couple is better than all the other couples.
Yeah.
One of these couples is better.
One of these couples is...
And then there's a second couple that's like, it's okay.
Yeah,
like,
it's fine.
Yeah, it's
but
fine.
One couple is significantly better.
I will
than
say,
the couples.
Compared to I don't remember what the year-end, what was the one we watched
the year-end
last
medley
year?
or whatever that we watched last year. Yeah.
So that one I think had smoother transitions between the couples and scenes and stuff. It felt a little bit not as jarring, whereas this one was like, we're just gonna keep switching a lot just to keep you.
It was like all of a sudden you're like in another.
And they
okay.
Yeah. And they would do, it was almost like they tried, like they would have one character looking at their phone and then another character, but in a way where you thought they were texting each other, but they're not, because they don't know each other. And you're like, why did we transition that way? That's so weird.
So, but it was fine. And so, other stuff, I'm behind, but I have been watching Good Day to Be a Dog, Moon in the Day, My Demon, I really need to catch up. Story of Parks Marriage Contract. I'm pretty sure once I catch up with that, I'm going to be super excited. One I did watch one episode of specifically to talk about on this, My Man is Cupid, which is on...
It's on Prime, right?
I don't remember. I had to skip around, because I was on Hulu, I was on Disney Plus, I was on all types of places. Okay, that was a Prime.
Yeah. I feel like
because I wanted to go watch a... Yeah. I might have said the wrong thing earlier about the Wonderhatch might have been... Wonderhatch is definitely Disney Plus. That I remember. Anyway, so I do think I went over to... I was going to watch a movie. I had a movie in mind, which I will watch some other time and talk about on this, but I was going to go watch a movie, and then I saw... Oh, oh, there's My Man is Cupid. So I watched like an episode and a half-ish of it.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say, if you're digging My Demon, you might want to check out My Man is Cupid. Just saying.
It is on my list. I have been intrigued.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
people have been talking about
I
it.
will say, I do think there's a serial killer aspect.
Oh,
If I'm getting this vibe correct with what's going on.
Oh,
all right.
okay.
And the reason I kind of asked about is My Demon having a whole cast of supernatural characters. I think there's some of that, a little bit of that going on with this. Because he's not the one Cupid. He also has roomies that are Cupids, too, because it was this whole shenanigan, and they show you why they became this and all that. Including one that is a dog most of the time, which just, I think, really funny to connect with the, like, Good Day to Be a Dog watching. Like, it's just funny to me. But, I mean, great cast. But I could tell, even going into the first bit of episode 2, it's like, you're really kind of doing some being in the police station because they're talking about someone that has been disappeared. And even in episode 1, you see high schoolers that got disappeared a while. Like, there's
something going on.
Okay.
There's some stuff going on there. So,
all right.
Sure.
And the whole Cupid thing, it's pretty funny. So, like, you have him and these guys that they do have to go, like, you know, zing people essentially to make them get connected with their destined person or whatever. But she, like the lead gal, she was cursed essentially because of her past life stuff, and anyone that she dates gets injured. So like that's her. So she's mad. If there's a Cupid, she's mad at the Cupid. That was her whole thing. So her meeting him is kind of funny, haha. So check it out. I really think that more people should at least go check it out because, again, if you're getting a huge kick out of My Demon, I'm not saying it's the same level production-wise or something, but if you're wanting some supernatural funnies, check it out. And definitely if you want the serial killer thing, because I think that is in that. Sorry them taking so long, but Death's Game. I watched the whole 4 episodes that are out. I don't want to say a ton about it because that's that, but
People die. Spoiler alert.
I will give you trigger warnings and content warnings in case you are interested. Definitely suicide, because that is right off the bat. Child abuse, point of view child abuse, like that's a big one. Bullying within a school, within a inmate jail type situation as well. Pretty bad, both instances. You know, a lot of gun violence, because every time she makes him go into the next life, death. Every time death makes him go into his next life, she shoots him in the forehead, essentially. So point blank shoot. And you see a lot of death. There is a lot of death, and that is the entire point of the show. So, if you're not into any of that, do not even give it a shot. Even first episode, so talked about if you're afraid of plane crashes, yeah, that's a thing. So like it's everything. A lot of it's also point of view camera work as well. So as he goes into these lives, whenever he's sometimes experiencing something, it makes the camera gets into his view of that. So it's intense sometimes. So like it is not for everybody. I'm really enjoying it though. I think it's really good. I think it is. Aside from saying all of this, I actually think it is less dark than I was expecting. I think that some people might actually be a little let down by that. That's my opinion. But also, I want to say the way it is being split up at the very end, I'm intrigued by what is going to happen. Like a little bit of a cliffhanger there. So it might make sense if things kind of like change after that cliffhanger, essentially. I recommend it for someone that thinks they're interested in it. It's one of those things, I had such high hopes, very specific hopes, that I'm still really enjoying it, but I think that if you had very high specific hopes, you might be a little bit let down if you wanted super, super dark the entire time. You're not going to get super, super dark the entire time. That's all I'll say about it.
That's fair.
So how about you, Natalia?
Oh boy. Okay. So I have finished a couple dramas. I finished Castaway Diva. I really liked it. That's on Netflix. I thought it was really good. But as trigger warning for what you're not expecting is horrible child abuse. Like, and just heartbreaking stuff happens in it, which I was, the premise really doesn't prepare you for what you're about to get into. You go in thinking, oh, this girl on a deserted island is going to become a singer when she gets found. How fun. And then you're watching and you're like, my soul is dead. This is so heart-wrenching. But very good. I did finish Sweet Home Season 2. You should check out our episode about it if you haven't watched it already. It was really good. I did finish my Dear Gangster Opa. It was fine. It was fine. It was fine, okay? Like, it was fine. And then I also finished I went on a Mixer Without Women, the one about the 3 idiots who go on a blind date with 3 women, but they don't realize that they're 3 drag kings. So they're women who dress as men and perform as in like a bar whose theme is women being male archetypes from like romance mangas. And so these are very like masculine presenting, like assertive women. So then it's sort of, it's like, these men are very confused about their own sexualities the entirety of the show. But it is very fun and very silly.
I can just imagine, whenever you describe it, I just always think whatever characters those are, like, just having the whole, like, the gay pride flag with the question, the emoji with the question mark.
No, that's the whole time. Literally, like, one of the characters is like, I'm so like, my heart keeps pounding every time I'm with this woman dressed as a man. Like, is it all women dressed as men? Is it men? Like, and then so he's like on a quest to find out if it's just this specific woman who dresses as a man, or if it's like all men or all drag kings, and it's just like, am I just into butch women? Like, and he's on a journey of self-discovery. And then you have like the dumb puppy, character who gets with like the very tall, beautiful, very statuesque woman who also draws very risque gay manga, and so then realizes like this dumb little puppy has never seen anything like this. So when he's over, the typical like, oh, I need you to help me like finish like the to put my manga in on time, deadline. And all of a sudden, she's like on the phone with like the other one. She's like, but does he know like what you draw? And she's like, don't look at that! Like, you're not ready for this. And he's like, what kind of manga do you draw? And she's like, I may call it battle manga, shall we say? And he's like, wow. He's like, it looks like those two were battling pretty hard. Like, he's pretty steady in this one. She's like, yeah. Anyway, very goofy, very fun. I've been keeping up with the Story of Parked Marriage Contract. Love it. A+ no notes so far. I've been keeping up with A Good Day to Be a Dog. Love it. A+ no notes so far. Very fun. I've been watching Delightfully Deceitful. Love it. Having a good time. Last Twilight, My Demon. Pit Babe, still keeping up with it. It's still what it is. It's exactly what it didn't say it was going to be. I'm also watching Middleman's Love, which is like the sequel companion, not really sequel, more companion story to Bedfriend. Now, if you take everything that happened to Bedfriend, okay, and then you think of what the exact opposite of what that show could be, that is what Middleman's Love is. There's nothing serious happens in it. Nothing. Everyone is over the top and ridiculous. It's very, very PG so far. I don't know what they're going to pull out for the last 2 episodes because Bedfriend was not PG. And it's a little like over the top goofy, but like, and a lot of people have been really turned off by that, but I don't mind. It's like, it is what it is. But it does have a very simpy character in it, and do love that. And finally, I just want to talk about this one that I started. It was another one of those J dramas that I start, and I'm like, I don't know, I don't know, and I'm 8 episodes of 10 in, and I'm still like, I don't know, man, I don't know. It's called 18 Sai Nizuma Furin Shimasu. And the basic plot is that there's this girl who's like Japan's version of a chaebol, essentially, and it's her 18th birthday, and her parents are like, you have to get married for like business purposes, and she's like, well, this is bullshit, like I don't want to do that. And so they're like, well, you have to marry someone who's good for the company. So she convinces her bodyguard, who is like, I'd say probably about 8 years older than she is, to like marry her. And she's like, but don't worry, like you can have a mistress, you can have, I don't care, this is not a real marriage, like I'm gonna go have like an affair, it's gonna be great. But he definitely has other plans, because he's like, anyway, he's kind of creepy. It has, you know, like the coffee and vanilla vibe where you're like, girl, you in danger.
Oh, there's a danger access. Oh no.
Girl, you're in danger, and it happens to be your bodyguard.
Like, this guy's been your bodyguard since you were 12, and now you're getting married. Girl, you're in danger. And when I tell you, episode 8 just took the wildest turn. I'm not gonna say what it was, but I was just like, what the fuck? Like,
these shows, those, is it? Yeah.
Anyway, it's not the worst. Most
I always think about the
concerning
librarian
J-drama I've ever
one
watched, but, like,
as an example, and I'm just like, oh, just these shows.
But like it, yeah, it took like a real like, let's retcon the entire series in episode 8 with this backstory they're presenting, where I'm just like, what are we doing here? I don't know where these last 2 episodes are gonna go, but I'm too deep in it now that I can't like.
You're like, well,
I can't exit. Like, I'm just like, okay, I just gotta get through these. They're not like subbed yet. Like, I'm still waiting for the subs to drop, so I'm just like. And that's airing somewhere. Don't worry.
It exists.
Yeah, don't worry about it. Much to my chagrin from the news that we got just today while we're recording this, I am also watching the Thai version of Cherry Magic. Don't worry, you little heads. I'll probably still be watching the Thai version of
I'm sure most of the people who are watching it will figure out how to...
We'll still be watching the Thai version of Cherry Magic. It's just
maybe that wasn't a grand choice there. Yeah.
Yeah, great choice.
Great choice.
Gag on this one.
Yeah.
But I've been enjoying it so far. So, that's, you know, there's some other stuff. That's basically it. You know, that's all I'll admit to watching. You know? That's all you need to know about. You know. Jessie, you got anything else?
Yeah, so again, Sweet Home, you should listen to our episode about it.
We had a good time. It was a good episode.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I rewatched Romantic Cdramas because of course I did.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. You know, it's gonna happen, you know? Just like deal with it. I restarted Silent. I'm a couple more episodes in. It's a J drama about a girl. I've talked about it, but like it's about a girl who was in a relationship with a guy in high school, and like he kind of left and didn't really like tell anybody where he went. And it's because he started losing his hearing. So he wanted to kind of like distance himself away from his family and friends because of it, because he was starting to lose the hearing, and like he knew that like within a couple of years he would be fully deaf. It's very good. I finished this J drama that's on Netflix. It's called I Can't Reach You. It just came out this year, so it's like relatively brand new. It's a little BL, like a high school BL about 2 boys. It's not the greatest, but I'm pretty sure that everybody really loves the manga. So like I feel like it was one of those things very hyped up, and I don't know, maybe the reception is great on it. It was kind of boring for me, and that's saying something with what I like. And there's also like maybe a little point where it's just like it gets a little like non-consensual, but nothing really happens, but like they don't really address it either, so like it's weird, but it's very short. It's like 20-minute episodes, 8 episodes long. So it was pretty easy to get through. I also finished the J-drama Marriage with Me Seriously. That's what Vicky has it as the title. It's like MDL title is not, it's not that as an English title. So
Yeah.
just if you're like looking around, it was fine. It's a contract marriage.
Yeah, it was okay. It was fine.
It was fine.
It was fine. It was
It's
fine.
also another really short drama that you kind of just throw a couple of episodes here and there. And that's really it on dramas. I have a ton of Stray Kids content to be catching up on that I've like just been throwing in a playlist. I'm just like, I can't watch it right now. Especially because I don't know if you knew this about me, but I really like this group called Day 6.
Yeah. It may have come up once or twice.
Well, they're like, you know, finally officially like all together, and they have a concert coming up like I guess tonight, tomorrow in Korea, whatever time it is. And they've been like ramping up all of their like stuff, and they're everywhere now. And they're doing stuff like constantly, and I know there's a comeback coming very soon. I wouldn't even surprise me if they announced a comeback at this concert for January. Honestly, let's be real. That's how Day 6 rolls. So I've been doing a lot of Day 6 content because they're, especially on Kate, everywhere. So that's really what I've been watching. But next week I will definitely be watching a lot more because I have a lot of free time.
Yep. Well, everyone, thank you for listening / watching this episode. If you want to listen to us, we're anywhere podcasts can be found. But if you want to watch us in beautiful Technicolor, you can go to YouTube because we're in video now, baby. And if you could, you know, like and subscribe and comment and tell us what your dramas you're watching if you're on YouTube. Hey, get that algorithm working for us. Because, like, we're very new to video on YouTube. Like, you know, it's not, you know. Anyway, we hope you have a fantastic week. If you want to support this podcast, you can go to patreon.com/certified Noonas to become part of the fan family. And we love the fan family. We think they're great. They get little extras and movie night, and we have a good time. We have a good time with the fan family. Big fans of the fan family. And if you want links and time codes, everything we're talking about, you got to go to our website, certifiednoonas.com, where every single episode has a post that has links and time codes and everything you're looking for. Yeah, and that's about it. We hope you're having a great holiday season. Eat some delicious food. You know, smile and say hi and wave at everyone you pass. You know how you do. And get in the spirit. Anyway, have a fantastic day. And wash your hands. Wear a mask because not just COVID. I want to tell you guys something. Quebec doesn't have that many people in it. Okay? And currently,
they're all sick.
2 million people have that respiratory virus that's going around in Quebec. And the hospitals are overrun, okay? Not just in Quebec. I know I'm saying Quebec because that's where I live. But, like, please wear a mask.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Like, you don't want it. I had it. You don't want it. And I wear a mask everywhere, and I had it. It was nasty. Don't do it. Anyway, wear a mask, wash those hands, and keep enjoying Asian entertainment. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.